Welcome into this week's WCS Sports Connection. I'm your host, District Athletic Director Patrick Whitlock, and with me, as always, my guy, Tate Mathews. Tate, how are things?
Things are great. Coach Whitlock, Director Whitlock. It's Easter weekend, or Easter week.
Correct. I wore a pink shirt today.
I love it.
Yes.
You look very pastel today and in the season, and I like it. Pink works well for you.
That's first I've heard of it, but no one else has commented on it today, so I thought I'd just bring it up.
Well, I think you look great, but it's Easter week, so that's always exciting. The March Madness is going crazy. I was doing absolutely fantastic until yesterday. I guess you can probably figure out what went wrong. But man, NCAA March Madness has been fun. We had the BCAT week, All-Star Hall of Fame and All-Star Game Day over at Brentwood High School.
Yeah, shout out to Troy Crane putting all that together.
Coach Crane did a great job setting it up. Coach Bond was there making sure. Coach Crane got it all set up, but then had to go out of town.
Right.
But Coach Bond was there as well, kind of just in the shadows in case anything happened. But that was very cool.
And they had tablecloths and a backdrop this year.
They had a tablecloth and a backdrop.
Really stepped up their game.
The credit on that has to go to Coach Jimmy Mack, Jimmy
Right.
McDowell, Region Semi-Jimmy at Lebanon. But it went really well, so it was cool. And now I guess, basketball's behind us now, so we are full spring sports.
Yes, and we are fired up for this show today. We've got flag football performances, dominant performances on the diamond, some milestone moments in lacrosse, and a lot more, so we'll get right into it.
Fireworks galore.
Fireworks
in April.
So we're going to start with baseball. Good week for the Ravenwood Raptors. Colton Karkow threw a no-hitter against Brentwood, 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, just 2 walks, and that performance helped the Raptors sweep the Bruins in the opening of district play. And then also, the Nolensville Knights went to the very prestigious NHSI event in Cary, North Carolina, put on by USA Baseball. Played 4 games, went 2-2, but 16 of the top teams across the country. They got to face number 1 St. John Bosco.
Yes.
In that tournament. Did not beat them, but had some nice wins over Del Barton from New Jersey and some other big wins out there. So congrats to the Knights representing Wilco well.
Yeah, without a doubt. And went in and got some nice play against some other teams, out-of-state teams. Iron sharpens iron, right? And this is very similar to when Coach Melzoni, the Nolensville Knights wrestling coach, goes up the East Coast and wrestles some of those teams that, from Ohio and, as you said, New Jersey, New York, things like that. This is getting outside your comfort zone, seeing some teams that you would never see, and I guarantee you, if you were to bring Coach Hudson on right now, they learned some things about their team that they didn't quite know. But I think this is great. Plus, it's a cool experience.
Yeah, get to fly, get to go away on a trip. Yeah, and we're seeing that more across our district. Teams stepping out. You mentioned Nolensville wrestling.
Yeah.
Page Lady Patriots basketball would be one that stepped out and played in some big events. Starting to see a little bit more in football. Some of these events, Coach Rodriguez taking his team down to play a powerhouse in Mississippi. You see some of these teams stepping out and doing that. So trying to get ourselves on the national stage here.
No doubt about it. And shout out to the administration and central office for allowing those things to happen. In the past, couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, my predecessors set the table for that, and we're just taking it to another level.
It wasn't possible, but it is now, and we're taking full advantage of it. And these kids are, one, getting some really cool life memories, but also some great exposure as well. So, yeah, the Nolensville Knights, watch out for them in baseball this year. They're ready. Coach Hudson's, he's been there. I think he really wants to be the team that maybe they can bring home, though.
Well, according to the Tennessee Baseball Coaches Association poll, we got 2 teams that are in the mix. Ravenwood, they kind of flipped spots this week. Yep. Ravenwood is 5th now, and Nolensville is 8th. I feel like sometimes people just look at records and put these teams, and that's why there's a little bit of a switch there. But district play has begun in Region 11 4A last week. Nolensville not in region play, so they go on this trip. And then district play will be beginning here in 12 4A. The word on the street is Independence will be the favorite in 12 4A. They're along with Page and Summit and Columbia. But then, the other team.
Gosh.
Yeah. the Murray County team that we don't care about. And then Nolensville and Ravenwood look to be the top 2 contenders in 11-4A. But Centennial's gotten off to a pretty good start. Brentwood, always had a sound program, and so we'll see how that plays out. Franklin, possibly want to get back in the mix. And with that, I want to give out a shout to Coach Whitby, who got hit. I believe it was during spring break, calling some pitches, got hit in the face by a line drive, had to undergo some surgery. The way he has handled that has been amazing. He came back to school. His team needed to see him. Probably came back a little quicker than most of us would, including myself.
Right.
But it's just taken the ultimate high road. Amazing attitude about that, and what could have been. We're thankful he's alive.
Correct.
It could have been a much more serious situation. So I wanted to give him a shout out.
Well, and for those that know him, he's a man of faith, very strong faith. So if you believe what he believes, it's. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's easier to have that kind of mindset, right? So a man of faith, and that's what he's been. That's what he's leaned on, I'm sure, with his wife and his community as well through this. So, but yeah, man, the way he's handled it's been first class, and a tough guy too, man.
I've been blown away with how well he has handled that situation. And speaking of his wife, let's move on to softball.
Hey, before that segue, can we? Because I did
pretty good, but yeah, go ahead.
No, it was great, and we're going back to but I don't want to get off baseball. I want to go back to that. All right, so Ravenwood and Nolensville are the favorites in 11-4A. No surprise there. And then Independence, the favorite in 12-4A. Summit and Page might have some. So, again, be careful what you wish for. But we were all together. Some people loved it. Some people didn't.
Right.
But is this what they wanted? Because I think this is no fun.
Well, you're going to face each other in the region. So, we're gonna.
You like this?
No, I hate it.
I don't like it.
I think it's the worst.
Yep.
And it's hard to keep up with. And, for those of you that are not familiar, they have the same alignment as basketball and softball. Softball and baseball have that alignment as well. So I'm not a big fan of these small districts.
I liked it the other way, man. I know it was tough. I know it was murderer's row, but there were no boring series. There were no boring weeks. Like, it was real deal.
Boom, 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 boom. I don't know. From a scheduling standpoint, it probably hasn't been the easiest thing in the world either.
Correct.
Because you're crossing over to play some of these teams. So always tough.
What's going on in softball?
Softball. We're going to start with Coach Whitby's wife. Franklin softball off to a strong start, 10-3-1. Sophomore Bella Black leads the team in hitting at .524, while Chloe Rowland is batting .435. Rowland is also tied for first in the state in wins and second in strikeouts. 114 Ks in 74 innings with a 1.5 ERA. It's nice to see that Franklin softball program with a little bit of a resurgence this year. So hats off to them so far.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I think a big part of it is there had been so much instability in the head coaching position at that school.
Right.
And in that particular sport. And I think you're seeing kind of a mirror thing with what's going on with Franklin and Centennial. Now Coach Whitby's been there for a while. She's had time to cultivate this program. And I think that's a big part of it. Because
no doubt.
She's been there now, and it's kind of been the same thing year after year after year. And I think you're seeing that with Centennial softball a little bit as well with Coach Hamilton. So, yeah, man, that's very exciting for the Lady Admirals to see them having that kind of a success. And I don't care who you're playing, 114 Ks and 74 innings.
That's strong.
That's really strong for Rowland. So, going to be fun. Look, they've already got more wins than, a couple years ago if you had a combined 2 years.
Right.
So
right.
That's got to be really exciting. I know for the Lady Admirals on the softball diamond.
Well, another program trying to build it back up, the Brentwood Lady Bruins, had some tough competition last week, lost a tight one to Centennial, 2-1, but it highlighted by a solo home run from Lucy Runyon, and then they played CPA, fell 11-2, but Runyon went 2 for 3 with another home run, her 4th of the season. Z Mustafa recorded an RBI, and Delaney Balkema struck out 13 over 7 innings. They have the Ravenwood Lady Raptors on deck this week in the Battle of the Woods, which is a big game for both programs. Both programs kind of trying to elevate back to where they've been in the past.
Yeah. kind of what we're talking about there. Brentwood's getting better. They're building that thing back up. But
Coach Stamps is really motivated. Like,
very.
She's all about it. Like,
Big time.
So
wants
good for
it to
her.
be good again. And it will
sure.
be. But can you imagine 5-6 years ago us reporting that Centennial beat Brentwood in softball? It just wouldn't happen.
No, was not in the cards.
Right.
At all.
And again, kudos to Coach Hamilton for getting that thing back where it needs to be.
And then a program that needs no help, Page, went to the Southern Warrior Classic this week, went 7-1-1. First of all, the fact they played 9 games in the weekend is impressive. Obviously, they, played really well to play that many games.
That's right.
Scored 74 runs total, had standout performances across the lineup. Vivian Forbes hit 3 homers with 12 RBIs. Izzy Melton had a .625 batting average. Mackenzie Smith had a .478 average with a .552 on-base percentage, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs. Ashley Johnson had a .484 on-base percentage with 2 grand slams, 1 home run, 13 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. Riley Vaughn led the week with 8 stolen bases, while pitchers Emily King, Ashley Johnson, and Peyton Windorf combined for 7 wins. Emily, 42 strikeouts, Ashley with 21. It's almost like they're playing video game out in that tournament, just dominating by the Lady Patriots.
Ashley Johnson, not 1, but 2 grand slams.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's awesome.
Did you see the grand slam at Hawkins Field yesterday?
I did not.
Okay. Vanderbilt walks off Tennessee 3 games in a row in baseball. Just had to throw that in. So,
I think it's great.
not a good day for the Vols yesterday, but whatever.
No.
Back to what's
How
important.
would you like to be that Erlander guy right now?
Not at all. We'll talk about that later. Back to softball. Summit battled through 3 one-run games this week. They split the week, but tallied 34 hits. Coach Stevenson likes the way this team is growing offensively. Audrey Cathy led the way, hitting .538 with strong contributions throughout the lineup. And then this is kind of where things are, at right now for Williamson County softball. Page is ranked number 5 in the Max Preps poll. They're the favorite in 12-4A. I'd say Nolensville is probably the favorite at 11-4A.
Clear cut on those 2.
Yeah, both teams should advance to the region. There was a time where it seemed like every year we got a couple teams in the state tournament. We could facilitate that with those 2 programs this year. No disrespect to the other ones trying to build it back up, but those are clear-cut the 2 strongest programs of Wilco right now.
Totally agree.
All right, on to boys soccer. 2 big wins for Brentwood this week. Ryan Bull, Aiden Wells, and Hayden Berg all found the net multiple times this week. And we have some juggernauts in Williamson County soccer. In the Tennessee High School Soccer Rankings, this is a just independent site.
Yep.
They've got Brentwood number 1, Ravenwood number 3, Franklin number 5, and then Independence number 16. And they're all grouped together except for Fairview.
Correct.
Because there's only 3 classifications for soccer.
Love that.
Only 2 of those teams are going to get out.
Only 2 can make it. And Franklin and Ravenwood battled to a 1-1 tie last week in their first district match. So, yeah. And we talked about that. Independence at 16. I don't buy that. I don't think there's 15 teams. And again, who cares? It's right now. It's just information in and spitting it out. But I don't think there's 15 teams in the state better than Independence. Now the problem is there might be 3 teams in the district better than them. We're gonna find out, but there's a good chance. But anyways, that's gonna be a heck of a run right there. But like I said, Ravenwood and Franklin already at a 1-1 tie. Don't be surprised if there's not some. If whoever ends up winning this district doesn't win it with a 12-0-2 or 12-0-3.
I mean, there could be a 3-way tie at the top.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot.
And
of
that number
ties.
1 seed is super important because you want to avoid the 2 and 3. 2 and the 3 playing the semifinals.
Right.
Win or go home. Typically, the way that goes, unless the 1 seed gets upset, and then.
And I'm assuming that we still go north. I mean.
Yeah, still have to play
Hendersonville
type area teams, so it's not the easiest road.
You'd much rather be at home.
Yeah, there's some really good teams in East Tennessee.
Correct.
But you've always got a chance there.
I feel like a lot of times in baseball, doesn't really matter. You just want to get to that game and win. If you got to go on the road, you got to go on the road. But traditionally for us,
home field means something in that
boys soccer
sectional.
Yeah,
it comes into play for sure. All right, boys lacrosse. Ravenwood dominated their district opener, beating Independence 19-4. Top performers on defense: Drew Parker, two-sport star Drew Parker. Actually, three-sport: football, basketball, and now lacrosse. I don't know. I didn't even know he was a lacrosse player. He played for me for 3 years.
He's an athlete.
Had no idea. Boone Allender, Will Bass, and then Will McCarter. I believe this is Will McCarter's first year to play lacrosse. I could be wrong. Offensively, Jack Rinke, Gregory Clapp, Caden Curran, Dylan Gay, and Mac Delbo. My guy, Mac Delbo. Stay out of trouble, buddy. Anyway, Tennessee boys lacrosse. This is just public school, okay? Nolensville 1, Ravenwood, this is the independent site, by the way. Ravenwood 2, Brentwood 6, Franklin 7, Page 8. So 5 in the top 8.
We'll take it.
Centennial at 16, Indy at 18, Summit at 19. Now, there's not a huge number. It's divided into 2 classifications. We'll get into that in a second. It's not a huge number, but this is all public schools across the state right here. Every school that participates in lacrosse is ranked in the top 19 from Williamson County. Fairview doesn't have a boys team.
Right.
So they're not in there. So we've got 2 classifications. Single A Region 4 has Centennial and Page. Double A Region 2 has Nolensville. Region 3 has Brentwood, Franklin, Independence, Ravenwood, and Summit. What a raw deal for Region 3. Nolensville's just stuck out there with Green Hill and some other schools. And then you put all these other schools together.
Nolensville's kind of like, I remember my parents at their house, we had these 2 hound dogs.
I like where this is going.
No joke. Howie and Elvis. And they had the invisible fence. So, Howie and Elvis finally figured out, get too close to the invisible fence, you're going to get a little warning shot. Get even closer, you're going to get zapped. Well, our dog, Pritzy, knew about it. So she'd sit over there and she'd lay over there and she'd tease them. And they'd just sit over there and look at Pritzy and be mad because they knew they couldn't come over on that side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And every once in a while, Howie, I think Howie had some brain damage. You could tell Howie would just get reared up and just brace himself and know he was getting ready to get shocked, and he'd go flying across and he'd hit that fence and yelp, but then he was on the other side. So anyways, I think that's what Nolensville's doing. They're just sitting over on the other side of the fence laughing. Y'all beat each other up, and we'll see you come the postseason.
That's probably the best analogy we've ever had
Without a doubt.
on this show. That was utterly... That's going in the promo for sure. All right. Girls lacrosse, a milestone moment for Independence girls lacrosse. Junior Holly Chase scored her 100th career goal, an 11-10 win over Gatlinburg-Pittman. The Eagles face tough matchups this week against Ravenwood and CPA. On the girls lacrosse site, Franklin, now this is private and public. They don't divide it for this site. Franklin number 4, Ravenwood number 5, Page number 8, Brentwood 11, and Centennial 13. So 5 of the 7 programs that have lacrosse, Nolensville girls do not have lacrosse. They're in a co-op with Ravenwood.
Right.
5 of those programs ranked in the top 13. Very impressive. You go on down the line, Summit and Indy factor in there well. They're a little bit further down. But lacrosse, in just its 2nd year as a sanctioned sport, humming along in Williamson County.
Big time. I think we got a really good chance to get 3, maybe 4.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
And Ravenwood and Centennial High School hosting the state lacrosse tournaments this year. So shout out
Which
to...
is which?
I don't know the decision's been made. I think Ravenwood's doing the girls, Centennial do the boys. Shout out to Coach Rector and Coach Elrod for helping facilitate
Coach Rector, big lacrosse guy.
Loves it. Loves it.
All right. I bet if it was up at Owensboro Catholic back in the day, he would have...
He probably would.
He'd probably been a middie. I can see him being a middie.
Well, he would love to pull out a stick and hit somebody with it.
No doubt about it.
He'd be all
red
in.
cards or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Lacrosse.
All right, on to flag football. Lady Bruins had a busy week, played 3 games and finished with a 2-1 record, picked up shutout wins over Oakland and Valor Prep before falling in overtime to Mount Juliet 7-6 against Valor Prep. Listen to these stats that I was sent. Quarterback Elizabeth Betty Ward put together an incredible all-around performance, 14-23 passing, 128 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 PATs, and even chipped in defensively with 2 interceptions. On the ground, just 210 yards and 6 touchdowns. The defense was also as impressive. Safety Emma Archer recorded 5 interceptions, including a pick 6. That gives Archer 11 interceptions and 6 pick 6s through 6 games. Again, we talked about Page softball video game numbers. video game numbers
Yeah.
right there for the Lady Bruins.
Tecmo Bowl. It's awesome. They're playing a lot better. Hey, those games were at Brentwood High. That was also the night that the first game of the Brentwood Ravenwood series. But man, that thing went late into the night.
It is.
I was over there about 8:30, and they were still rolling out on the football field. But so anyway, some late nights and
bringing 3 teams together.
bringing 3 teams is a late night, but played really well. Valor Prep, thanks for coming. Thanks for playing. Stick to soccer.
Peace out.
We got this flag football thing handled, and so they're. What's cool is the Lady Bruins play. Obviously, you mentioned all those stats. Playing really well on defense. They're better on defense than they've been in a few years, and you can tell by the amount of interceptions. And not only are they making interceptions, as some of the other teams that we're going to talk about here in a second, but there's a difference between forcing turnovers and then forcing turnovers that you're turning into points. And as you mentioned earlier, they're starting to turn some of those into points. When the defense is scoring points too, you got a pretty good chance.
No doubt. So now Franklin didn't have the best week, struggled a little bit, but our girl Molly Forrest had a pretty good week.
She did, and no excuses. That's not what we're in the business of. But we are banged up a little bit over off 810 Hillsborough Road. So we're going to be okay, but 0-3 last week for the Lady Admirals. Your girl, Molly Forrest, she's one of your favorites.
Miss Intangible on the basketball floor.
Well, she's Miss Intangible on the flag football field as well. She had 2 or more interceptions last week. That's 5 on the year. In football, we call that being around the football. You like people that are around. She just has a knack,
right,
of being around the football and then having the opportunity to make a play and then making it. So pretty cool. And Coach Webb says she really enjoys it too. So you got to love that, man.
Yeah, fantastic. 3-sport athlete.
3-sport athlete.
Doing an excellent job.
She's a ball hawk.
She is. So Independence, Lady Eagles having a good season, still undefeated, moved to 4-0 with a dominant win over Smyrna and Siegel, shutting both teams out. Quarterback and defensive back Erica Gardner had 400 yards on offense, scored 9 touchdowns, and added 2 interceptions on defense. Wide receiver Maddie Zates, basketball player, was also just as impressive, 200-plus receiving yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Good start for the Lady Eagles, kind of getting into uncharted territory, but we're about to get into district play, region play here, so it's going to change.
We're getting ready to get real.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
Still, 4-0, that's a great start for them. I like it.
No doubt. And then Ravenwood capped off its non-region schedule with an emphatic 27-0 win over Kirkwood. Senior quarterback Carolyn Merville tossed 3 touchdown passes, pushing her season total to 18 in 5 games. Defensively, Rhea Carthon and Lindsay Lee combined for 22 flag pulls, while Sierra Hershka, sorry Sierra if I mispronounced your name, added an interception. Raptors head in district play 4-1, and they're going to play Independence. So that's going to be, we're about to find out how real Independence is here in this region opener.
That's right, because Coach Rodriguez, not bashful about it, proudly proclaims the Raptors' preseason schedule the toughest in the state.
Well, they did go play Stone Memorial and some of those other teams.
So, and Merville picking up where she left off last year. 2 of those touchdowns to Charlotte Askew, and then 1 to Avery Brown, who has kind of missed through everything on the field. Man, I can't wait to get out to a flag football game. I still remember last year in that state championship game against Stone Memorial. Might have been Avery Brown, but they rolled her out. They called a go route to the right. They rolled her out a little bit, and she threw it. And I'm telling you, man, that was the most on the money, in stride throw I saw all last year, including the boys.
Yeah.
Like, if you haven't seen Merville play, she is fun to watch.
Yeah, there's our good friend Christian Taylor has a photo on like his Instagram feed of a catch that was made, and I don't know who it was, but she went up over she's sandwiched in between 2 defenders and just takes it away from him. It's quite impressive. So shout out to Christian Taylor. Go check that out.
Hey, real quick, because we always talk about the offensive stats on the defensive side as well. Molly Street of the Fairview Yellow Jackets. Obviously, we had so much exciting things to talk about on the offensive side. But Molly Street had 23 flag pulls. That is a tackle.
I know
flag
what that means,
football.
yes.
I know
For the
Do we need a flag football rules?
go ahead.
Okay, we will. 23 flag pulls on the day, and then also Kennedy Black for all of her offensive fireworks. She had 3 picks on the weekend, and Abby Dodd added 3 picks as well.
And speaking of Fairview, they're rolling. Had big wins at Creekwood and Brentwood Academy. They are 5-0, first in the region. Kennedy Black amassed over 400 yards of offense and 6 touchdowns. And the Max Preps rankings across the state have Fairview ranked number 1. I don't know the accuracy of those because I don't know that every team reports their scores, but Fairview is ranked number 1 in that right now.
My guess is Coach Hughes, who is the godfather of flag football in Middle Tennessee and maybe the state of Tennessee, might have some influence over that. But I do think they're up there without a doubt. But number 1, got to be honest, Coach Hughes. A little suspicious there.
If there's a way, Coach Hughes is going to find it.
Is it called tampering? Would that be called tampering?
I don't know. It's probably just reporting. I don't know. You got any more flag football stuff for us?
Paige, stop me if you've heard this. They defeated Stewart's Creek 6-0 on a Savannah Meek pick 6.
There you go. Congrats to Lady Patriots on that. All right, on to tennis. Got a few more updates this week. Independence had a great week, sweeping Summit. Girls won 8-1, boys 9-0, and then they split with Franklin. Brentwood remains perfect, 7-0 overall, 5-0 in district. That's boys and girls. They edged Ravenwood in a down-to-the-wire match while both teams swept Page and Centennial. And then Franklin is going to host Ravenwood Tuesday and Brentwood Wednesday. And according to Coach Tiger, like this week basically decides it all. It appears the 3 best tennis teams are Brentwood, Ravenwood, and Franklin. Ravenwood and Franklin in no particular order to be decided this week. So we'll see how that
is that
plays
hosted at the Williamson County Rec Center?
If Franklin is the host, yes.
Yeah, Franklin's the host.
Yeah, so it is going to be at the Franklin right across Mac Hatcher there.
It's awesome.
Don't cross the street without supervision, kids.
No, actually, let's not cross the street.
Yeah, don't
drive.
Just drive over there. It's dangerous. I've seen some stuff on Mac Hatcher.
Dang right.
When you want to get somewhere, that's the road you take. Every other road, forget it.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, on to track. We got a big event coming up this week.
Big
April
event.
1st and 2nd, the Scott Hartman Invitational, one of the most competitive meets in the state, and this is the 40th anniversary of Scott Hartman's graduation, and the infamous Scott Hartman Championship shirts reflect the 40-year throwback made by yours truly, Mathews Team Sports. The infamous shirts. I guess these guys have quite the reputation.
Well, yeah, because you want one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the cowboy hat at the GP West. If you get a T-shirt, that means you did well.
Yeah.
And this meet's a measuring stick. It really is.
Yeah.
So
this is like a precursor to the state championships, essentially.
Coach Doty and staff, they could triple the amount of teams in this meet if they wanted to, but they don't. They keep it small. They keep it intimate. They want it to be competitive. If you're invited to this, you're a player in track and field, and if you do well in this, you got a chance to do really well come state tournament time. So yeah, I mean state meet time. Sorry, but yeah. So if you get a T-shirt, you did well. Thanks for the shout out, but the credit goes to Coach Doty. She designed them. We just produced them, but. Yeah, very proud to be a part of it. And then Coach Joins and I, when he sat in that seat, we used to always talk about it, man. I know you've seen the picture. If you're over at Brentwood High, go over and look at the Wall of Fame and find the picture of Scott Hartman. This guy was built, athletes didn't look like that back in 1986.
Right.
And he did. I mean, he was an athlete, man.
So speaking of Coach Doty, she kind of filled me in on the history of Scott Hartman. And I don't know, I didn't grow up here, so I didn't know the full backstory on this, but Scott was the 1986 TSSAA decathlon champion, set the state record, shattered the Tennessee state record by scoring 8,720 points in that. His first meet at the University of Tennessee, a 1 in a million type accident, and then he passes away years later. Very tragic story.
And
it's very gut-wrenching to read about that because I did not know the full backstory on that. So this is not only is a prestigious event, just a great thing to carry on his name.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, big time.
And they've done it. I think Coach Sig actually probably started it, and then they've kept it going. But not only was it a 1 in a million accident, maybe even more than that. It was also the hammer throw.
Right.
I don't even think they do that anymore. Maybe part of this.
Right.
So, but yeah, just
an unbelievable story.
when you talking about, you go back to what was that campaign in the Olympics? Dan and Dave.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that guy was.
When I looked up some of the pictures of I was like, you just look at that guy, you're like, he's a track athlete. Like that guy. I mean, looks like almost like a perfectly built cartoon character. Just like, oh, you're like, that guy is dominating in track.
Without a doubt.
For sure. So, anything else on the track front?
Well, there's to tell you how competitive the meet's going to be. The Hartman relays in the men's 100, they anticipate everybody in the heat being sub 11 seconds.
Wow.
That's how strong this meet is.
There you go. So
you and I wouldn't have qualified.
No, I wouldn't qualify with a bike. It's impossible. So those days are behind me. Anyway,
maybe a bird.
I think this is one of our best shows.
It's been good, man. It's been good. Sorry about the Howie and Elvis side story, but I thought it really made.
No, it
plus a little
really,
insight into how we grew up.
Really tied the room together. It was impressive.
Appreciate it.
No doubt. Big Lebowski reference. If you didn't get that, all right, that's going to wrap it up for this week. We will see you next week with more updates, and get out to the Scott Hartman relays if you can on Wednesday and Thursday this week. Take care.